I am back, and you are flying high over the zone with me, the Zig Zag Man, from Alameda, California, in USA, United States of America, and we're right across the bay from San Francisco on Super Bowl Sunday, and it's the day when I give least of a rat's ass in the entire calendar is the stupid bowl. But while everybody's out doing that and getting drunk and acting stupid, I am lucky enough to be at the 420 studio in Alameda down by the lagoon, and my guest via phone is my old buddy, a Marinite now, native San Franciscan, and terrific comedian, big-time comedian from way back, and his name is Doug Ferrari. Welcome back to the mic 4 or 5 different times you've been here. Doug Ferrari, how you doing?
It's great to be back, Zig. I'm trying to get the name. It's Flying High Over the Zone on Comfortably Zone Radio with the Zig Zag Man.
Radio network with the Zig Zag Man, and we've got 4 or 5 shows on the network now. We got baseball shows, we got wrestling shows, we got commentators that are top-notch with political philosophy and life.
And
it's super.
You found the one comedian who doesn't give 2 fucks about the Super Bowl.
Right. Absolutely. We could care less.
I'm just a Giants fan. My sports is show business.
Well, we've got a giant show on the network. It's called.
I love everything except opera, country music, and sports.
Well, country music, just the word itself is an oxymoron. It's like Army intelligence. Doug, you got 3 different things going. First of all, you've become a regular at the Throckmorton Theater. Would you pronounce that for me?
The Throckmorton in Mill Valley.
In Mill Valley.
Yeah,
tell me a little bit about the theater. Tell me a little bit what they're doing now, the comedy venue, who's producing it. And
we talked about it before. It's 11 years now. They've had comedy on Tuesday nights with up to 300 people and many, many great comics. Just a couple of weeks ago, Father Guido Sarducci was there. Mart Saul's always dropping in, and there's other people dropping in, but who they get on stage is some amazing people. They had Jimmy J.J. Walker still doing stand-up, and they bring all these people in for 11 years now. And Lucy Mercer at the theater books it, and I'm lucky if I can get in every month or 2 and be a regular. And then I'm going to start doing a show at George's on 4th Street in San Rafael on Wednesdays. You're going to have to come down and do a podcast.
I'd love to. You're producing that with a mutual friend of ours, Griffin Daly.
Right, and the first week is there's a headliner, middle, and MC. It's a real show, and the first week is Ngayo.
Oh, wow.
Ngayo, he's my comic friend who's Mr. 420, who has his own product in cannabis clubs now.
Oh, is that right?
He has his own brand of things, whatever they are. I don't know if they're cookies or what, but he has his own. His whole life is Mr. 420. He has my dream job. He is a critic, a pot critic, online marijuana critic.
Nice, very nice. Because I've known Ngayo back 25 years, back in the Punchline days, and
if you don't follow Ngayo, and then the second week we're going to have Will Durst. So it's going to be fun. But the thing is that for those who don't have me on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, try to friend me. I've had so many lately, I haven't been able to get to them all. Something weird happened, and something of mine got shared, and all of a sudden there's like I'm popular, and I don't want the friends. I'm almost at the limit. I can't get the 4,500 I have to pay attention. I don't care about. But anyway,
you need another 500 like a moose needs a hat rack.
Yeah, send me a message and saying that you heard me on Ralph's show, on your show, and I'll friend you, because I have some stuff here that I was looking. I was just doing my Facebook, which is where I find all my news now. And so there's a lot of things I put up. Did you hear? I want to talk about Trump and Cruz and stuff in the news like that. But basically, I'm on a rant about Cruz right now. So
I'd like to hear what you have to say, Doug.
Did you hear that Trump has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? And,
I think I heard that somewhere.
Somebody put a swastika on it. So they assume that that's either an anti-Trump person or a Trump fan. But I think it's a Trump supporter because the swastika was backwards. This shows you where our educational system is in the United States. It's old English.
Where's your history book? Look at this. Yeah, where is your history book, young man?
Yeah.
Don't you remember how nice it looked when it wasn't backwards, when we could get all the Jews, round them up with the help of the Catholic Church and throw them all wherever they were going? But we were only following orders.
Yeah, even the German shepherds that worked for the Nazis said they were only following orders. But anyway, the thing I wanted to say about
well, that's when they invaded France. They were following orders.
I was really happy when Trump lost because I wanted him to get smacked because he needs to be smacked. But it turns out he started screaming, crying crybaby that Ted Cruz cheated, and it's true. Ted Cruz won because Ben Carson, that sleepwalker, went home from Iowa to Florida to get a change of clothes, and while he was gone, Ted Cruz's people told everybody that Carson dropped out of the race, and in the caucus room, so Ted Cruz won. So now I can't stand Ted Cruz. I can almost stand Trump.
To be serious, I consider Ted Cruz to be much more dangerous than
he's worse than Trump because he's got no entertainment value, and he already shut down the government, and he admits he's
right. And he's already talked about what he's going to do about immigration, and he's already talked about what he's going to do for women's rights and all of that. And we're going to have Roe v. Wade right out the window. But here's some good news.
Yeah, but he can't get anywhere. We know he can't win. But the thing is that he's just the whole thing on him is that everybody hates him. Everybody's always hated him. They hated him in college. He has no friends. He has no endorsements. Everybody in the world hates him. He has a face you'd love to punch. There was a whole article I saw online.
Yet 49.
Yeah, well, you go ahead.
I was just going to say 49% of the people in America would vote for him if he ran in the national election. That means that half the people on the bus you go to work with, you'd like to stick a shiv in them rather than say good morning.
Those polls are all bullshit. But the thing is that he can't, when he's so incompetent. Okay, first of all, they had video of him trying to kiss his daughter after an event, and she's pulling away. It was a GIF, and she's pulling away from him. And then they cut to Sigourney Weaver in Alien with the alien right in her face, and it looked just like that. So it was a very awkward Ted Cruz. Wait. Then there's this headline where he had said, quote, the country should spank Hillary the way I spank my 5-year-old daughter.
Right.
So that's just what, he's just such a creepazoid. And then typical of all teabaggers cannot spell check. He has some new website and he misspelled country. We're going to make it a better country, COUNRTY.
You scared me, Doug. This is podcast radio, but it can only go so far. That's you could have misspelled that in many different bad ways.
Right.
You could call. Speaking of whom, Hillary is running against Bernie, of course. What do you think about that on a serious basis, without looking for jokes? What do you think?
I think Bernie should be on her cabinet. I'm voting for Hillary. I think Hillary should win. She's the only one qualified, and Bernie is going to keep pulling her to the left where she needs to be, and then she better give him a good job in the cabinet running the fucking banks or something. That's my opinion.
Well, I only hope that she's not in a position to do that, because I think that she's more the same, and that Bernie would be a drastic change. Bernie can go after big business because he's not indebted to big business. He hasn't taken bucks from them. But it's going to be
Bernie too. I love Bernie too. He's necessary. He's not like an independent candidate, and like some guy that's going to run that's going to fuck up the whole election. I love what he does, but the thing is America had a choice 8 years ago between a woman and a black man, and they chose a black man. This time it's between a woman and a Jew. I don't know if America's ready for the Jew yet.
Well, I would prefer you just said she ran against a man last time, and she lost.
No, but I'm talking about the racism.
A man this time, because I think one of the things that labeling people this, that, and the other thing, a black man, a China man, or this, that.
Right. Well,
that polarizes us.
The way I could have said it was, there is so much sexism in America and so much racism in America that in the minds of a lot of men, it was between a woman and a black guy.
Right.
See,
well,
I'm talking about
I don't know. I think
not the way I think. I'm somewhat to the left of Gandhi, for Christ's sakes. I'm a radical, liberal.
Well, then I invite you to see that Hillary, I invite you to take a good look at the differences between Bernie and Hillary, and to realize that Hillary is no more to the left of she's not to the left of Richard Nixon. If Richard Nixon were alive today, she'd be to the right of him.
She's a continuation of the Obama administration, and I'm very happy with every day of the Obama administration.
I'm very happy with the Obama,
especially since he's not in the Congress, and I don't mind. I don't know. I don't do this kind of stuff on stage. And not.
No, we're just talking to guys. We're not talking.
Not because I would care, but it's just not funny. But the thing is that my pet peeve is people that don't vote, and people who say they're all the same. Both sides are the same. They're all the same. Hillary is the same as Nixon, or any Democrat is the same as Republican. That's what Ralph Nader said. And despite Ralph Nader, Al Gore still won, but we just Bush stole it. So we're in a very strange country right now with very strange things. Bush stole the election twice, and he stole the election in Texas too. He never won anything in his life.
Absolutely.
And so we got to be very careful in this election, not to have. I'd rather see people go out and vote for Bernie than not vote. Just vote, for Christ's sake.
Doug, more important than those guys is you at the moment. What you been up to? Everything going good for you? And you're happy of late. I really noticed that, and I'm thrilled.
Thank you. Well, let's see what's happening. There's so much going on. It's not like gigs. Yeah, there is a webisode series they want to do that helps the homeless, and Mike Pritchard is involved in it. So we started shooting that, and we got to shoot another day. And I'm doing a comedy piece for it, and then I don't know if I'm going to host the series or not. Every episode of the webisode, they want to help one homeless person out. That's the general concept. So we're going to make a demo. So what I wrote was the Tenderloin walking tour, because I lived there 16 years ago, for a year.
Right.
So I wrote, I take them on a tour, just like there was a bunch of tourists, and welcome to the Tenderloin walking tour, and then I take them to all the hot spots in the Tenderloin.
Hot spots, indeed.
Yeah, all the real hot spots,
Yeah.
like, where you can, the Carl's Jr.'s where you can stay up all night, and the check cashing place, which I call Bank of the Tenderloin, and Pill Corner, which I call the Tenderloin Free Clinic. Pill corners, you can buy any pill in the world. I was hanging out with some guys. I was hanging out with some hippies on Haight Street one day, and they were telling me that once in a while, some kind of pill will come along. One of their friends will be able to get some kind of pill. God knows what they would want. They just seem to be pothead hippies to me. But the guy whips out his phone, and there's an app that tells you what every pill ever made looks like. And they use that in the Tenderloin.
Unbelievable. What an age we live in.
We're filming that, and then I've got to have hip replacement surgery on April 4. So I'll be home.
I didn't know that. I didn't know your hip had deteriorated that much. That's
yeah. They misdiagnosed it for about a year and a half and thought it was my knee and thought I was begging for Vicodin. They thought I was faking. When they got it, their X-ray, they didn't read it right. So I finally got better insurance. Went to a new hospital, and they knew right away. They took it. The guy. I was with some, and I went back to the doctor too, because I talked about him in my act. This is a doctor who said, I've heard about you, so I Googled you, and you were a drug addict, so I'm not giving you any Vicodin. So he wouldn't give me anything because I was faking, and his jaw dropped when I walked by him and said, yeah, I have a completely desiccated hip, and I'm having the surgery, and just walked away. I didn't say, and I get Vicodin now, you fuck.
Right.
Fuck you.
Well, you've always been reserved like that. Thank you for not saying that to the doctor. I mean, that was the day.
Oh, I'm going to file a complaint, with him against the clinic, because he was pretty fucking stupid. But other than that, it's supposed to be really easy. I took this class. I was very trepidatious about it because of all the recovery and stuff. 3 weeks for the walker, 3 weeks for the cane, and then you're supposed to be 100%. But I felt better when I went to this class you have to take, and everyone in there was a 90-year-old lady that was 4'11". I figured if they can do it, I can do it,
Well, from what I understand, it isn't easy, but once you get through it, you're a new man, and you've been gimping around a little bit, and I thought it was
I've been a cane for a year and a half, except on stage, but it's very embarrassing to me because I don't want people to think that I can't perform. So, I've been working around different places, but I mean, I don't want to walk in someplace and have the poor booker think, did he just get in a car accident or something? So,
well, you could open on stage where they could pull the curtain and you could be sitting in a chair if that's.
Yeah, but I don't have to do that. I'm going to go for the full recovery. I've never sat.
Oh, okay. Oh, absolutely.
I've never used a cane on stage. I just stand on stage. I put my videos up on my Facebook. You can see them. I just stand real still.
Yeah.
For
those of you out there that don't know, I'm talking to Doug Ferrari. We're on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. We're flying high over the zone with me, the Zig Zag Man. And Doug, tell me a little bit, tell the audience a little bit about how you got started in comedy, just really briefly, because some of them have never heard you. And this is back in the very, very early 80s.
Well, I saw the Three Stooges live in 1962, and I decided that that's what I was going to do with my life, and I was on stage.
How old were you at that time, Doug?
How old? Four. And
okay.
I made my stage debut at 4 the same year. I was in a musical, and then I went to school for a while and got the hell out as soon as I could, and started comedy about 40 years ago. This is the 40th anniversary of the San Francisco comedy scene, so that's how long I've been doing it. We did a couple of shows I was telling you about where we talked about the old days and the crazy old comics.
Yeah.
And the audience loved it, whether they knew who the comics were or not. Crazy comics are crazy comics.
Hey, you know, when I have other comics on, when they refer to crazy comics, they talk about you. Steve Pearl and Bob Rubin were on a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about stories of hanging with you in those days. And can you regale us with some early stories of fun?
I was infamous. I had a party house in San Francisco, and it would have a 100-gallon tank of nitrous, and that would be the main thing. Everybody, BYOB and a 100-gallon tank of nitrous, and that would give you an idea of kind of crazy stuff that we used to do. I always kept everybody at home and never let anybody drive drunk and drive around the world. But the craziest comics that I hung with, among them would have to be Rubin and Pearl.
Right.
I can't tell any of the stories because even though the statute of limitations is up, it's hard to actually tell any of the stories.
You can't really tell them until all their family is dead.
The comics were so bad in the 80s that this woman, there was a party in Portland that a lot of us were at, and I found out that there was this young comic, about 21, a real goofy, naive comic, and this woman waves him into the bathroom, and she locks the door, and she gets on her knees in front of him, just like that. And the guy goes, "I'm sorry, I thought you were going to give me some Coke." That's it. That's the only way I can put it back then. You understand?
Sadly, I understand how that could happen.
Change the subject. You know what I want to talk about? We've lost all these great rock stars lately.
Oh, they're falling like popes.
Way past 3, isn't it? It's like 7. We just lost Dan Hicks.
Yeah.
And Maurice White from Earth, Wind, and Fire, and all these people. So somebody put up
Bowie.
I reposted it, and it said that Bingo from the Banana Splits died. R.I.P. Bingo. And it made me think, I wonder if Bingo was the drummer, because remember when it was just the drummers that died? The drummers were always the hardest partiers, like John Bonham and Keith Moon.
Absolutely that, yeah.
I always wondered if those heavy metal bands in the 80s with the big hair, the Satan bands, the death metal Satan bands, all the Satan imagery, I always wanted to do this sketch and on TV, but I'll just tell it to you. The band is in the dressing room waiting to go on, and they have a meeting with their manager, who's Satan, and they're complaining. They go, "We sold you our souls, and we're still not number 1 on the charts." He goes, "Well, look, it's a tough business. I'm only the devil. I do what I can. It's show business. It's hard out there. You can still be big stars, but I'm going to have to ask you for a human sacrifice." And they all turn to the drummer, and the drummer goes, "Why is it always me?"
Well, you're the drummer.
Somebody sold their soul to the devil, and then still nothing happened.
Right. Doug, what's in it for you next? What's happening for Doug Ferrari coming up in the next month?
Oh, thanks for asking. I'm going to do a outdoor event at the Roxy Theater in San Francisco on Valentine's Day, where there's a movie with Margaret Cho called Be Robin the Movie. And there's a movement called Be Robin where they perform in the street. They set up in a street with no announcement, start performing, and start giving away food and supplies and blankets and money. People bring money.
Kurt Weitzman made this movie. Another one of our mutual friends, who's a friend of the show. Go ahead.
They're showing it at the Roxy Theater, and the busking thing will be outside at 11. So that's the next place I'll be, is with Kurt Weitzman and the gang outside the Roxy Theater at 16th and Mission.
Beautiful.
That'll be fun because I never got to do one of them before. I saw them in the movie. The funniest thing is that Margaret Cho likes to take her clothes off. She likes to sing. She likes to dance. But I had never seen this before. What she did is she stuck a bunch of money down her shorts. And then instead of people putting money in her shorts, she handed out money to the homeless people like a stripper.
Oh, wow. A stripper in reverse. She's always had a flair for class that way.
Yeah, she's hilarious. She's just so wacky. So
absolutely.
That's what I'm doing next. And I'm really glad that I get to plug the shows and make sure that I get it so that I can repost this and talk about your whole network and stuff.
Absolutely. Beautiful. You'll get as soon as I post it, I will send you a link. I'm going to end the episode. First of all, thank you, Doug, for coming back. Keep coming back. It's a pleasure.
Thanks, Rob.
I love checking in with you. You're one of those people who I have a vested interest in keeping going because I like you.
Thank you so much. You too, buddy.
All right, my friend. And stick around for a second while I end it. I'm going to end the episode like I do every one of them. I'm going to implore you to keep your dreams wet and your humor dry. Keep your kids out of military recruiting stations and your grandkids too. It's bad. War is bad. You don't want them as fodder. And keep your kids off the laps of clerics that wear dresses. It's just a good idea wherever you are in general. Keep on keeping on. Adios, Doug.
Take care.
See ya.